everyone, ready for another deep dive? We've had so many requests to tackle the topic of AI, and let's be real, it's kind of hard to ignore right now.
It's everywhere.
Exactly. So today, we're going to be digging into a paper by someone you might not have heard of, but trust me, she's brilliant.
Oh, I know her work. I'm excited to hear what you pulled from it.
Her name is Marynês Pereira.
Okay, yeah. Marynês Pereira.
Right, you got it. What's fascinating about her is she comes at this whole AI thing from a really unique angle. I mean, she's an expert in neuroscience, quantum physics, AD, positive psychology.
Wow, that's quite the combination.
Right.
Yeah.
And her paper focuses on how AI is affecting us, not just like big societal shifts, but on a personal, individual level. Like, how is this going to change your life?
I like that. Gets right to the heart of why people are both fascinated and kind of freaked out.
Totally. And Pereira gets that. One of the things she talks about right off the bat is this anxiety people have, like, is AI going to steal all our jobs? Is it Terminator time?
The robot uprising.
Exactly. But she's also super optimistic about the potential, and she compares it to other times when new tech kind of scared everyone at first.
Like the internet.
Yeah. Or even personal computers. Remember when those were this new, scary thing? Now we can't live without them.
Right. It's easy to forget that fear of the unknown.
Totally. So, back to the job thing. Pereira's argument is that if we understand AI and learn to use it right, it's not about replacement, it's about enhancement, like having a superpower.
Interesting. What do you mean by that?
She talks about AI being like this tireless assistant, taking care of all the boring stuff so we can focus on the creative, strategic, big picture stuff.
I see. Freeing up our mental bandwidth.
Exactly. I mean, think about those customer service chatbots. They're getting pretty good. Sometimes I actually prefer using them.
Me too. Sometimes you just want a quick answer without the small talk.
Right. And that's just one tiny example. Pereira dives into healthcare, too, where AI is being used to analyze medical images. Like, imagine getting faster, more accurate diagnoses.
Potentially life-saving stuff.
Exactly. So when you zoom out to the global picture, the potential is kind of mind-blowing. Grandview Research predicts that by 2030, the AI market is going to hit, wait for it, $1.81 trillion.
That's insane. And just 7 years away, basically.
I know, right?
Yeah.
This isn't sci-fi, it's happening now. Which brings up another point Pereira makes that I found super interesting. She talks about how some people are resistant to sharing information with AI.
Oh, like they're afraid it's going to learn too much and take their jobs or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like holding back their knowledge. But honestly, with all the data we already put out there online, social media, everything.
It's kind of already out there, isn't it?
Right. AI is already being trained on mountains of public data.
Sure.
And actually, as this whole AI thing evolves, our individual knowledge and expertise, like yours and mine, could become even more valuable.
Huh. I hadn't thought of it that way. So are you saying we should be leaning into AI, not shying away from it?
That seems to be Pereira's point. Like, refusing to engage with AI today is kind of like refusing to use computers or the internet back in the day.
I get the analogy.
Yeah.
They're going to get left behind.
Totally. So how do we adapt and use AI to our advantage? That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay. I'm all ears.
Well, Pereira talks about how this interaction with AI, it's a two-way street. We're teaching it, but it's also teaching us.
Oh, I like that. We tend to focus on the one-way flow of information.
Right. But she's saying that by interacting with AI systems, we can gain new insights, learn more efficiently, maybe even discover opportunities we wouldn't have seen otherwise.
So instead of worrying about AI replacing us, we can actually use it to become smarter and more efficient ourselves.
Exactly. And this ties into the different mindsets she describes. In countries where access to technology is limited, there's this scarcity mindset. People are afraid to share, they copy, they plagiarize, which ultimately hinders innovation.
That makes sense. If you feel like there's not enough to go around, you're going to hoard what you have.
Right. But in developed nations where resources are more abundant, there's more collaboration, more sharing, which leads to more growth.
So the implication is that we need to cultivate this abundance mindset if we want to thrive in the AI age.
Exactly. And that means embracing lifelong learning, developing new skills, and seeing AI as a partner, not a competitor.
This all sounds very forward-thinking. But what about those who are maybe feeling a little left behind? Where do they even begin?
That's where education comes in. Pereira talks about the need for a major shift in how we approach learning. We need to focus on skills that are going to be relevant in this AI-powered future. Things like computational thinking, data analysis.
And adaptability itself, right? Being able to learn and evolve quickly.
Exactly. And it's not just about technical skills either. She also talks about the importance of ethics in AI, like algorithmic bias, data privacy.
That's crucial. AI can't be a black box. We need to understand how it's making decisions and ensure those decisions are fair and just.
Absolutely. So the big takeaway here is this AI revolution is happening, whether we like it or not. The question is, are we ready to embrace its potential?
And I think that's a question we all need to be asking ourselves. It's funny, when we talk about AI, people's minds often go straight to those big futuristic concepts.
Like self-driving cars, robots.
Exactly. And while those things are definitely part of the picture, AI is already having a huge impact in less flashy but equally important areas.
Like where?
Well, let's take healthcare, for example. One of the most promising applications of AI is in medical diagnosis. We're talking about AI algorithms that can analyze medical images, things like X-rays and MRIs, with incredible accuracy.
Really? Like better than human doctors?
In some cases, yes. They can often pick up on subtle abnormalities that even trained radiologists might miss. It's not about replacing doctors altogether, though.
Okay, that makes sense. So more like a tool to help them.
Exactly. Think of it as a superpowered assistant that can process vast amounts of information and flag potential issues for the doctor to review. This could lead to earlier diagnoses, more effective treatments, and ultimately better outcomes for patients.
Wow, that's amazing. Especially for something like cancer, where early detection is so crucial.
Absolutely. And because AI can process information so much faster than humans, it can also help reduce those sometimes critical diagnostic delays. Imagine an AI system in an ambulance, analyzing a patient's vital signs in medical history in real time, alerting the hospital, and recommending the best course of action before they even arrive.
That's incredible. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's happening now.
It really is. And it's not just about diagnosis either. AI is also being used to develop personalized treatment plans, taking into account an individual's genetic makeup, lifestyle, everything.
So instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, it's tailoring treatment to each person.
Precisely. It's the future of medicine, personalized, preventative, and proactive. And the implications go far beyond the individual patient. AI can analyze massive data sets of patient records, identifying trends and patterns that could help researchers develop new drugs and treatments.
So it's not just about treating individuals, it's about improving healthcare for everyone.
Exactly. It's about using AI to uncover those hidden insights that could revolutionize how we approach health and well-being on a global scale.
This is all pretty mind-blowing. What other industries are being impacted by AI?
Well, another area where AI is making a big splash is in transportation. Self-driving cars are no longer just a futuristic fantasy.
Yeah, you see them being tested in some cities.
Right, and the technology is advancing rapidly. We're talking about AI systems that can navigate complex traffic situations, anticipate hazards, make split-second decisions that can prevent accidents.
I've seen videos, and it's still a little freaky watching a car drive itself. But I guess the more they learn, the safer they'll become.
Exactly. And the potential benefits are huge. Think about reduced traffic congestion, fewer accidents, greater accessibility for people who can't drive themselves.
Like the elderly or people with disabilities.
Yes, it's not just about convenience. It's about creating a more inclusive and accessible transportation system for everyone.
That makes sense. So AI is helping us move people more efficiently and safely. What about goods?
AI is already transforming logistics and supply chains. Companies are using AI to optimize delivery routes, track shipments in real time, predict demand, and manage inventory more efficiently.
So it's streamlining the whole process of getting products from point A to point B?
Exactly. And that has a ripple effect throughout the entire economy. It can mean lower costs, faster delivery times, and a more sustainable and efficient use of resources.
It's incredible to think about how this technology is already changing the world around us, but it also makes you wonder about the potential downsides. What about the ethical implications of AI? What are some of the risks we need to be aware of?
That's a crucial question. As with any powerful technology, AI has the potential for both good and bad. It's important to approach its development and deployment with a sense of responsibility and ensure it aligns with our values as a society.
It's funny, earlier we were talking about AI as a tool, but maybe it's more like fire.
Fire? How so?
Well, fire can be used to cook food, warm our homes, provide light, but it can also be incredibly destructive if it's not controlled properly.
I see your point. AI is a powerful force that needs to be carefully managed and directed.
Exactly. We need to ensure that it's developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity, not just a select few. And that means thinking about things like algorithmic bias, data privacy, job displacement.
Those are all valid concerns. Algorithmic bias, for example, can lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes. If an AI system is trained on biased data, it can perpetuate and even amplify those biases in its decision-making.
Like if an AI used for loan applications was trained on data that reflected historical lending discrimination, it might unfairly deny loans to certain groups of people.
Exactly. That's why it's crucial to ensure that the data used to train AI systems is diverse, representative, and free from harmful biases.
And what about data privacy? With AI systems collecting and analyzing vast amounts of information, how do we protect people's sensitive data?
Data privacy is absolutely paramount. We need strong data security measures, clear regulations, and transparency about how data is being collected, stored, and used. Individuals should have control over their own data and be able to opt out of data collection if they choose.
Those are all important points. And then there's the elephant in the room, job displacement. As AI becomes more sophisticated, it's inevitable that some jobs will be automated. How do we prepare for that and ensure that everyone has the opportunity to thrive in this new economy?
That's a complex issue with no easy answers. One solution is to focus on developing skills that are uniquely human and difficult for AI to replicate. Things like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and interpersonal skills.
So those skills that require human judgment, empathy, and the ability to navigate complex social situations.
Exactly. Those skills will become even more valuable in a world where AI is handling many of the routine technical tasks. We also need to invest in education and training programs that equip people with the skills they need to succeed in the jobs of the future.
So it's not just about learning to code, but about developing a broader set of skills that will be relevant in any field, regardless of whether it's directly related to AI.
Absolutely. And it's about fostering a culture of lifelong learning, where people are encouraged to continuously adapt and evolve their skill sets to keep pace with the rapidly changing demands of the workplace.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just about preparing for the jobs that exist today, but about being prepared for the jobs that haven't even been invented yet.
Exactly. And that's where the concept of future-proofing your skills comes in. It's about developing a foundation of knowledge, skills, and mindsets that will enable you to adapt and thrive in an ever-changing world, regardless of what the future holds.
So it's about being proactive and taking ownership of our learning and development rather than waiting for someone else to tell us what to do.
Exactly. And it's also about embracing a growth mindset, where we view challenges as opportunities for learning and growth, rather than obstacles to be avoided. It's about seeing change not as a threat, but as a chance to learn, grow, and reinvent ourselves.
That's a really empowering message. It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our own destinies and create a future where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Absolutely. And with that in mind, let's shift gears and explore some specific steps you can take to start future-proofing your own skills and preparing for the AI-driven world of tomorrow.
That sounds great. I'm ready to hear more. Okay, so we've talked about the big picture impact of AI, the ethical considerations, all that. But let's get down to brass tacks. What can our listeners actually do to prepare themselves for this AI-powered future?
Well, Pereira actually offers some pretty practical advice. She talks about starting with self-assessment. Take a good look at your skills, your interests, what you're good at, what you enjoy. Where do you see yourself, career-wise in the next few years?
Okay, so it starts with knowing yourself, basically.
Exactly. And then think about how AI could potentially enhance those areas. For example, let's say you're a writer. There are AI tools out there that can help you brainstorm, research, even edit your work.
So it's not about AI replacing the writer, it's about making them a better writer.
Exactly. And it's not just writing. Think about musicians using AI for composing or arranging, or visual artists using AI for generating ideas, exploring different styles. It's really about seeing AI as a creative partner.
That's pretty cool. But let's be realistic. Not everyone's an artist or writer. What about those more, practical skills that will be needed in an AI-driven workplace?
Pereira emphasizes the importance of both hard and soft skills. On the technical side, computational thinking and data analysis are becoming increasingly essential.
Can you break those down a bit? What exactly do those skills entail?
Sure. Computational thinking is basically the ability to approach problems in a way that a computer would. Breaking down complex tasks into smaller steps, thinking logically, understanding algorithms. Data analysis is all about making sense of data, finding patterns, drawing conclusions.
So even if I'm not planning to become a programmer, having a basic understanding of these concepts could be beneficial.
Absolutely. These skills are useful in so many fields. They can help you think more critically, solve problems more effectively, communicate better, especially when dealing with data.
That makes sense. Now, what about those soft skills? Why are they so important, especially with all this talk about AI taking over jobs?
Well, here's the thing. As AI gets more sophisticated, it's going to automate a lot of those routine, repetitive tasks. But what AI can't replicate are those uniquely human skills.
Hmm.
Things like creativity, empathy, communication, collaboration.
So it's not just about what we know, but how we think, how we interact with others, how we solve problems together.
Exactly. Those are the skills that will really set you apart in an AI-powered workplace. It's about combining your technical know-how with your human ingenuity.
It's almost like AI is pushing us to become more human, to focus on those things that make us unique.
I love that perspective. And it highlights the importance of lifelong learning. In the age of AI, the ability to adapt and learn new things quickly is essential.
So it's not enough to just learn a skill and then coast on that for the rest of your career.
Not anymore. The world is changing too fast. You need to be constantly evolving, expanding your skill set, staying curious.
It can feel overwhelming, though. Where do you even start?
A good place to begin is by exploring the resources that are already out there. There are tons of online courses, workshops, communities dedicated to AI and related fields. Find something that sparks your interest and dive in.
It's about being proactive, taking ownership of your learning, right?
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to experiment, to try new things, to step outside your comfort zone.
I think a lot of people are feeling anxious about the future, about what this AI revolution means for them personally. What would you say to someone who's feeling that way?
I'd say, first of all, it's okay to feel anxious. This is a big change, and it's natural to have questions and concerns. But instead of getting caught up in the fear, try to focus on the opportunity. AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's up to us, as a society, to shape its development and ensure that it's used ethically and responsibly.
So it's not just about adapting to AI, it's about being part of the conversation, advocating for the kind of future we want to see.
Absolutely. We all have a role to play in this. Stay informed, get involved, make your voice heard.
This has been a really fascinating conversation. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
I think the key takeaway is that the future is not something that just happens to us. It's something we create. And with the power of AI at our fingertips, the possibilities are truly limitless. So embrace the challenge, stay curious, and let's build a future where technology empowers us all to reach our full potential.
That's a great note to end on. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights.
It's been my pleasure.
And for our listeners, as always, we encourage you to keep diving deep. The source material for today's episode was Intelligentsia Artificial by Marynês Pereira. If you want to explore her ideas further, we highly recommend checking it out. And until next time, keep those minds curious and those imaginations fired up.